Your wazoo. And gentlemen, we're going to keep this as PG-13 as we can because we feel like this information can be used for parents and students because this is opportunity out there for our community. Yeah, we may not see it as a viable way to a future, but this generation, this generation. And y'all welcome to Mouthpiece Included. Make sure you knuckle up, guard your grill, and most definitely do not, I repeat, do not forget your mouthpiece. Keep your head on a swivel. Love yours. Love yours. So today's show, as always, we're going to go over the weekly hot topics. We're going to cover those. And then how about those Bears? It's been 2 games since our last show. How about them? Is it still just in time? We know he's a little ginger. Speaking of a little ginger, we had gingerbread on the field the last couple of weeks. Now, also, we're going to cover our quarter black of the week. I guess we got 2 weeks to cover. And then, how about them Bulls? How about them? And then finally, we'll end with the topic, which is part 1 of our 2-part series. That's going to be esports. It's a question mark. Is it athletics? How to get scholarships for our youngins? How can they get paid professionally? Huh? We're talking about they need to learn trades. Well, can this be another way to get that bag? Because we all know when the melanated get involved in something, whether it's STEM, mathematics, science, etc., or whether it's athletics, we tend to dominate. So, first I want to get our resident silverback in the building, the co-host, my regulator. What up there, fool?
What's going on? What's going on? Happy Turkey Day, whatever is politically correct nowadays. Well, we all from Chicago. I used to watch them after school, coming home. They had the brothers on the team back in the days, the Ernie Banks and the
Mr. Cub,
Fergie Jenkins, and Leon Durham and Lee Smith. Fresh.
The Bull. That was the Bull, wasn't it? Bull Durham?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Leon Durham, he missed the ball in the playoffs.
Don't forget Sarge. I mean, he wasn't melanated, but, Sarge was around there.
Yeah. I mean, that was my team because that was the team I watched. Because, when you came home from school, that's what was on. Before you got to your cartoons, I had to go to the child care. And Mr. Smith will always be watching the Cubs and cooking all at the same time. So
that's how my grandmother got me into it. Same way. I slide through her crib after school, running around Hyde Park. She was always in the kitchen doing something, had Harry Carry On in the background. I think before that, who was it, Brick House or somebody like that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Then he went to did he go to the Sox
or vice versa? I think he did end up going to, Harry was with the Sox.
And then came over to the Cubs.
Yeah. That was before our time, though.
That was his story.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and get the second regular in the building. We got another silverback, a guest silverback in the building. Let's see here. Let's get him to start his video. We got EP in the building, and he also appeared on the Self-Love Show. Y'all really need to check his show out. The one he did still has the most views. And I'm going to talk to you about that, EP. For some reason, I can't play it. Tori can play it. I can't play it. So I want to make clips of it and post it on the channel. But I'll get to it. But what you got in your intro, bro? And this is the guy who came up with this topic. So what you got, bro, before we kick it off?
Man, I ain't got nothing, man. Just happy, thankful day to everyone. Thankful for you guys. And I just want to say, have a good day, however you celebrate it. But grateful for what you got, man. Spending with your family, your friends, your loved ones, and just be grateful. You know, I know it doesn't have the best history behind the day or whatever. Actually, it does have a good history, but it got manipulated over the years when
Facts.
foreigners
Facts.
introduced to it, right? Yeah, but anyway,
It was a good history. You're right. The melanated were breaking bread and showing people how to survive, and they were working together with the pilgrims. And it wasn't. Yeah, you're right. It wasn't always.
they were celebrating their harvest. You know what
correct.
I mean? Like, boom,
Yeah.
we had a good year. Let's eat.
Yeah.
Boom. Then they invited other people, and then other people, like, you know.
And then they
this
started
our
putting.
thing now.
And then they started putting. What was that? What was that disease they used to put in the blankets and give them to the Native Americans? Yeah. I can't ever think of it. Yeah, that's it. Smallpox.
Yeah.
South Park did an episode on it. But bro, we're gonna keep this PG-13. Some of the kids who might watch it might not. They might still be drinking the Kool-Aid, and their parents might not want them to hear all this yet, which is understandable. So yeah, I appreciate this topic, bro. We're always looking for yeah.
Yeah, man, I just came across a video one day. I remember a couple of years ago seeing a segment on Real Sports. That was when I first learned about it. Brian Gumbel, Real Sports on or whatever. That's when I first heard about it. And then recently I saw a clip on YouTube, and I think I mentioned it to you all in the chat. And I was like, yo, this would be a good topic for the show. So,
and big ups to Brian Gumbel. I think he's a Chicagoan, a Hyde Park cat, right?
Oh, yeah, okay, I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
What up?
And your shirt, for clarity, does that say Chicano? What's your shirt say on it?
Chicago, Chi-Town.
It's 1837.
1837.
Yo, so every year when I go home for Christmas, when I'm passing through the airport, the little stores like they sell books and newspapers and stuff. They have Chicago branded sweatshirts. I guess in the winter, sweatshirts. They probably have T-shirts in the summer. But it's a different one every year. So I make it a tradition now. So I got like 3 or 4 of these.
All right. That's what's up. You can
Different
never
style every year. Yeah.
Well, you can never have too many hoodies. Are they all black? I'm sure you got some purple and gold ones.
They different. I need to get some of those. Purple and gold ones, but they're normally like black or gray. I'll dig some of them up later on. Maybe for the next show.
Bet them up. Yeah. And all right, so let's go ahead and get it pushing, because I got another meeting after this, and I appreciate y'all doing this as always. So last week, I want to see if you had something to add to this. We did a show last week about, it's called Put a Fork in LeBron because he's done, meaning LeBron James. You got any updates or anything on that, Ace? It was a great show. If y'all need to check that out.
Well, it was a big week for LeBron with the skirmish he had in the Palace. Well, I don't think they're playing the Palace anymore.
Well, yeah, we're gonna get there. And he had a big shooting game, like he watched our show, and he, yeah. But nobody said he don't have one game in him here and there. Just can he do that every night? Right. But we're gonna get into that in the hot topics, which goes right into it. Ace, go ahead. We was talking about LeBron. We'll start out with the LeBron elbow. Y'all got thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, seeing the video clip, I mean, it was an elbow. I didn't see how malicious it was perceived to be, but if somebody's up on you, you got to get them up off of you. Maybe the old school had to teach the new school how to get somebody up off of you, and it turned into a melee, pretend to be melee, because nobody threw any fists or anything. It was just a bunch of running around and talking.
True. It was intentional. I don't know if I'll call it malicious, but it was definitely intentional. Like, yo, get up off me. Dude was going a little hard. It was a made shot. Play was pretty much over, but dude was still going hard. Knocked him off balance, and as he was falling off balance, he hit him. You know what I'm saying? I don't think he meant to hit him in the eye. He probably meant to hit him in the chest, whatever, but he meant to let him know, like, yo, dude, like, get up off me, caught him in the eye. And as people had mentioned, once he saw the blood, then he kind of like spazzed out a little bit. Actually, I kind of think the spazzing out might have made the situation more than it was because there was no blood initially. You know what I mean? It could have been cut.
You think when he got his blood pressure all up, it was
Got his
pumping more
blood pressure all up, people grabbing or whatever, you know, yeah, you know.
Hey, and then everybody coming up to you, look at your face. You know what I mean?
Yo, he caught you, dog. He caught you. What you gonna do? What you gonna do?
Maybe he had a razor blade in his hand, like, you know, old school wrestling. Flipped it out of his shorts and, you know.
Right.
What do y'all think about Stephen A. Smith, though? He was he felt like my man's reaction was a little overboard. Do y'all agree with that?
I felt that way upon seeing the video. Yeah, you started bleeding, you threw an elbow, you got cut, but you know, I mean, what are you gonna do against LeBron James? He's still an icon for this particular era, and as you saw, nobody was gonna let him be close to the man. So, yeah. I guess he was, what is he, 23 years old?
Yeah.
So, or 20. He's a young guy. So he just wanted to show that, hey, you know, you're in my house, and this is unacceptable.
Yeah,
Did you think LeBron? Man. Go ahead, my bad. Go ahead, bro.
No, he caught a break. He was lucky because had he got loose and thrown a punch, man, he probably been suspended. Like probably games, like probably half a season. You know what I mean? Had he just got to just throwing punches, it could have been a lot worse. But after the initial reaction, yeah, I can see you getting upset, but your team held you down. Now, when you break away, you bowing through
everybody,
coaches, now you're getting a little excessive. You know what I'm saying? Then they take you to the locker room and you try to run around the other thing.
Yeah.
At that point, you're doing too much, man. You're really doing too much. You know.
What do you think the chances are that LeBron said something slick to him that you think it was just the blood, or you think LeBron was probably like, you know, like, F you, Mark, you know, we keeping it PG-13 as best as we can. But what are the chances that LeBron probably whispered something that, because, man, some don't say he went ballistic, man.
Yeah.
I don't think he had time to say much. He ran up on him. If he said something, you know, I don't think it was enough to go crazy like he did. But,
yeah, and at the time, I don't know if LeBron knew initially where he hit him. He just threw, the ball. He don't know where it caught him, right? You know he caught him, but he don't know where. So initially, dude turned around like, "What's up?" LeBron like, "What's up?" You know what I mean? Because at that point, you still don't see the blood. You still don't know where you caught.
Yeah.
You know, like, yeah, I threw that ball. Like, get up off me. Like, yeah, I threw that ball. You know what I mean? So dude could have read that the wrong way, thinking like LeBron meant to hit him in the eye, and then, you know, he spazzed out. I don't know. My speculation.
All right. Well, I thought the suspensions were, pretty much. I thought they were pretty much fair, but we're gonna push back past that because we got to get on topic. So, all right, let's go with. Did y'all see Kyle Kuzma's big pink sweater? Anybody see that?
Oh, Kyle Kuzma wears big pink sweaters.
Well, you know, he's a fashion type of guy. I think he's going to be a fashion model. Yeah, he's definitely a fashionista. Him and what's his name? Russell Westbrook. Yeah, they're pretty fashionable. But what I'll do is here, I'm going to run it for you guys because you guys haven't seen it, and this is educational purposes. So I'll just stop y'all real quick. Hey, stop yours if you can, your video only, and then we'll just run it so y'all can see what I'm talking about, and then we want to hear your commentary.
I don't have TikTok, but this is your TikTok. You have to see it, and trust me, you have to see this. It is Kyle Kuzma's pre-game outfit. I'm a little bit at a loss for words here. If only we were back at home doing the
God damn it.
Is it a dress? Is it a jacket? Did he just go to the big and tall store and pick up the first thing he saw?
What is that?
I don't know, but when you have a Karen tripping on it, we're going to run it back a little bit for anybody who didn't see it.
I'm a little bit at a loss for words here. If only we were back
That's the sweater, man.
Why?
So your kids are going to watch this and then go to the store and tell you to buy it for them. So, all right, you guys can bring your cameras back in, production, if y'all can get them going. So, comments, thoughts?
Yeah, it looks. Was it Halloween?
Is he trolling at this point? I mean, y'all talk to me, man. Seriously, like seriously.
I mean,
Or
why?
EP, you were more fashionable than me. You know, talk to me.
Hey man, I don't know what to say about that one, man.
How did he drive to the game?
He probably hopped out of the Uber or something, man. I wouldn't even let him. I wouldn't even let him in my Uber, man. Like, you can't ride with me with that big sweater on. I don't know what you got under there.
I know what that.
Hey man, I hope his sister, somebody's a designer, and he was like just doing a favor.
Hook me up a Gordon Gartrell.
Like a
Yeah,
family
I want
favor.
the biggest sweater and the tightest pants.
You get it's a contrast.
All right, this generation, we don't want to stay on that too long, but
Now, to his defense,
go ahead. I want to hear it.
tidbit. At one point in time, pink was considered manly. It wasn't until like the 30s or the 40s that someone said blue is for boys, pink is for girls. Believe it or not.
No, I agree with that. You know, high heels were made for men.
Really?
Check the history. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
I don't think my problem's with the color.
Correct. Correct.
I mean, the color. Well,
Correct.
you know what? There was a period actually not too long ago when rappers were all wearing pink. Remember, Cameron was one of the cats. I was trying to make it fashionable.
Again, I don't think the color is so much the issue here.
Yeah. I mean, it is a small fact for me at least. I'm not gonna lie and say color is totally not an issue. It's not a big issue. Hey, you wear what you want to wear to each his own. But yeah, that whole, I don't know, man. It's
You know what I mean? I mean, I've had a pink polo before, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just how huge it is, man. That thing is massive.
Yeah, it's like George Mirasan or Yao Ming size sweater you got on.
Yeah, he looks like a kid who put on his dad's shirt or a female who put on her man's shirt. You know, and they walk around the house, it's a little cool in the house, and they think that's cute. That's what he looks like.
Yeah, but no, you know what I just heard? It's a COVID sweater. And what it does is prevents you from like touching doorknobs and stuff like that.
All right, well,
that's what he's doing, man. That's what he's doing. He's trying to be fashion forward, man. They waiting on approval from the was that the FDC? FDA?
Hey, I tell you what, when I need a good defense attorney, I'm calling EP Law Services. Man,
absolutely. That was clicking in on point.
Hey, look, you guys, stop your video one more again. I'm gonna roll a video. This is a former NBA player's daughter. I'm sure y'all heard about this. I can't think of the guy's name, the NBA player, but he finally had to apologize. This wasn't her fair use.
Player's teenage daughter is accused of sucker punching her opponent at a basketball tournament over the weekend. Turns out it's not the first time that's happened, as video surfaces of the team punching two other players in Carson before the latest attack. Reporter Jennifer McGraw has more now on the reaction from the teen's dad.
Shocking video and confirmation that the teen seen here in this new viral video in the right-hand corner of your screen, punching two opposing basketball players, is the same girl responsible for sucker punching a player and leaving her with a concussion.
Look at the rest of the team.
Weekend.
When I realized that it was
she's a pretty big girl.
I don't care how big she is. You don't let nobody late. The whole bench is supposed to clear and start working her big butt.
Yeah, but you know, them kids probably know fighting their life.
Yeah, you're right. These kids don't know how to defend themselves anymore.
After the first incident in September.
That's why they're suicidal.
The team, the player, and the parents.
And here's why the player's parents were banned, as the mother allegedly screams for her daughter to hit the opposing player. That's the second incident.
And you got the mother allegedly telling her to hit the player. There he is. Played for the Bulls. Corey Benjamin.
Oh yeah.
To see and hear.
All right, we don't need to hear the attorney. It's going to be a big money grab. All right, y'all. Thoughts?
I had saw that on my phone. I thought it was clickbait. bait or something. So I pay attention. Ooh, Corey
And
Benjamin.
that's just dumb, poor
Yes.
parenting. He's like opening himself up for a lawsuit. Like,
Right.
Yep.
you like, oh, like.
But
I
that
don't
was the
know.
mom. That was the mom screaming hit him. I don't even know if he's still with the mom.
Right.
Okay.
But yeah, that's that's terrible, sportsmanship. And apparently she's teaching her how to be a bully. She wants her to be one.
Right? That's weird. I've never heard of like even that situation, Ace. It'd be different if the girl had undercut her, bridged her. Even then, I wouldn't be screaming hit her. But if they had bridged your son or daughter and she landed on her head, or and stood over you and swung at you, maybe so. But that nothing even happened. I looked at that play over and over. I said, "Why would a mom scream?" Of course, we didn't see the whole game, but
Well, I mean, in this past summer,
yeah.
look. Deuce his team was being hacked up and down the court.
Yeah.
It was summer league, but the refs were allowing this other team to get away with it. So I'm out there yelling like, "Hey, play them like they're playing you.
Yeah.
Get away with that. If you don't let them hack you, hack them back." But I would never tell my child to go out there and hit somebody. That's absolutely nuts.
Yeah, you want to do it within the confines of the game. But Ace, you're right. Here in Cali, and that was in Cali, I watch a lot of that, man. They let those little non-melanated ones, just because they're smaller, they seem to think that they can do, and they let them do it, and then those girls take advantage of it. But back to my point, though. Listen, I don't care. Man, somebody knocked your teammate out, and everybody just... We live in some crazy times, bro. But let one of them kids had an AR-15 in their hand, they'd have shot everybody, huh?
Yeah. But took her and got him a hamburger after the game.
Yeah. All right. You got anything on that, EP? Because we're gonna move past the hot topics after your comment.
Yeah, man. Like I said, that's crazy. Makes me wonder if the mom's stable mentally. You know what I mean?
Correct. Yeah.
Also, if she was abused.
Who, the child? The child?
For the mom.
Well, if she's might be abusing the child. We never know.
Yeah.
But the mom herself was abused.
Yeah.
And this happened. They said it happened before. So also you have to question what's going on with the coach. In his position on that. You know what I mean? Because for a second, I thought maybe they trying to turn the basketball league into a hockey league. You know what I mean? Because in hockey, you have that guy on the team, but this is professional hockey. This is not kids. You have that guy on the team that you put in to throw that punch at somebody. You know what I mean? To hurt someone. And that's how they had the brouhahas and the fights in hockey, because they had that guy on the team who's the fighter. And they want to hurt someone, but that's professional men.
Yeah.
And they allow that in hockey. But kids, nah, man.
But thank God Shaq's mom wasn't out there screaming, "Hit him!" The kid's too big, man.
Right. She looked like a Shaq size for a female.
And she knew how to throw a punch. Like I could see her being in MMA, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want to hit somebody, do that. You know what I'm saying? Wrestle. Give them a wrestling team. Try for the football team.
It's a question of whether it was, a school team or AAU. Because if it's a school team that's allowing that to go on, and you got to question the administration or the AD or whatever who's over the sports at the school, that you're allowing a player to continuously attack other players. So somebody's got to be held accountable.
Yeah.
Man. All right, man. And, we wish a speedy recovery to the girl. You hate to see that in sports, like y'all said. I mean, there's another way to do that. And that's just, it's no place for that in any basketball, especially organized girls basketball. I mean, come on. Come on. So, all right, we're going to push past that. I think that's all we had for our weekly hot topics. So how about those Bears? We're going to jump through this real quick. Y'all got any discussion? I know they just won on a last second kick on the road against the worst team in the league. And then last week, they stunk it up pretty badly. Y'all got any commentary on the Bears?
I mean, well, they just beat a 0-9-1 team by a last second field goal. So there's not much to say about them. The controversy this week was Nagy was supposed to be fired after the game, according to certain sources. But, you know, I don't think the Bears would do that because they've never done it in the history of the team.
Yeah, they're too cheap.
Yeah, they don't want to be paying multiple coaches. However, it was a game. It was a division game. They were playing hard, but they won. That's all I can say about it.
EP.
No comment, man. I still haven't really been following football yet, man, since the whole Kaepernick incident, man. I know he paid, and settled and all that type of stuff.
Bro, I hadn't either until we got this black quarterback. They knew what it was Justin Fields. I'm like, man, I hadn't watched. I was the same way, bro. I used to tell you, we was doing a sports show. I wasn't watching no sports at all. And yeah, we got Justin Fields. I'm like, do that to me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
I might have caught some of the first game. Maybe it might have been preseason that I caught. But man, I didn't got used to
not watching.
Not watching, man, and just doing other stuff with my Sundays, man.
Instead of having the Bears piss you off with their stupidity. Hey, this is the dumbest Bears team I've seen. Can anybody argue with that?
No, and it comes from the top. From
yes,
management, definitely through the coaching. They'll have Justin Fields out there, and they don't want to move the pocket, roll out, do all things that accentuate his skills. And then they bring Andy Dalton out with the healthy running backs, and your top receiver hurt, and they want to throw the ball the whole game. So
now they want to throw the ball. We're 6th in the league in running, last in passing, and they want to throw the ball all around the field.
Yeah, it's yeah. Good luck to the Bears. Hopefully they stay healthy the rest of the season, and we'll see who's coaching next year.
Well, and then what would you do, bro? Justin looks good over there on the sidelines. I mean, would you play Andy the next 2 or 3 games and then just let Justin close it out like the last 4?
Well, if that's what Nagy wants and you have the intention of firing him, sure.
Right. If you're telling Nagy X number of wins to keep your job, you let him play whoever he wants to play. No. I mean, I hear you, but no. I hear you if that's how they're doing it. But yeah, I would have fired him in pace and all of that. So, so in your mind, Ace, is it still just in time?
I believe he is. He needs to get as much work in for his own mental capabilities going into next season, going into this off season. Once they finalize who's going to be his receivers, so he can work with them in the off season, as opposed to what Allen Robinson said in the middle of the season that he didn't get enough work.
Agreed. And quarterback of the week, bro, I'm going with that black guy. I don't know his name, but that black guy who came up in Soldiers Field in his first game ever. He's undefeated as a professional. He played in the Flappy McFlack League and was like 8-0, and then he came to NFL and came to Chicago in the road with the fans, all the stuff they say Justin Fields can't do. And somehow they put together a game plan where he didn't look retarded. Right? I don't know if we can't say retarded. We want kids to watch this show. Where he didn't look special needs. Yes. And so I'm going with him for last week. Would you disagree? Quarterback of the week?
Oh, man.
I mean, yeah.
Why not? I mean, it was coaching. I think they had basically given up, or they gave up the idea of winning that game. They just wanted to keep the offense close to the vest and safe. And the Bears couldn't figure out a way to
score.
They can't figure out a way to score any week. And they stuck to their normal scoring output this week in the win against the worst team in football of 16 points.
Yeah, and they somehow try to blame the defense. Yeah, the defense is not getting them off the field on the last drive, but the defense is giving up under 20 points, like under 15 points every game. I don't
Right,
care what happened on the last drive. It's not the defense's fault.
right. You know, you got all young cornerbacks out there, and you've got Khalil Mack out, and these guys are out there balling as much as they can every week.
Yeah,
You got
yeah,
to score some points. You brought
yeah.
in the offensive guru to run this KC or whatever Andy Reid type offense, and they suck. They've sucked ever since he's gotten in.
And Ace, last quick point, because we want to get on topic, but you remember last week, the last game, Sunday, I guess it was, when the blown coverage at the end. We had jagged all our timeouts for whatever reason, and they went hurry up offense. Good coaching, Harbaugh. I would have done the same thing in a video game because he knew we were frazzled and we had no timeouts. Had we had timeouts, the defense could have called a timeout when that happened.
Right. And rested, stopped, figured out, or discuss what the strategy was going to be, even though the defensive coordinator isn't that great.
Yeah, but we call timeouts. We call timeouts when we find out we got a 1 yard. We take a 1 yard penalty for a 2-point conversion. We don't even need call a timeout to call a play on that situation. Then call a pass, and then call a pass.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
that's
dumb.
like a preparation for the game.
That's just stupidity. Y'all can put a bow on it all y'all want. If you want the defense attorney EP to come here and defend the N-word coach, and then we'll love to hear from him. But let's push past it. Let's push past that. We're gonna get on topic. I think we had just the Bulls real quick, man. I just wanted to comment. How about those Bulls, Ace? They're 12-7 right now. They're in a second place tie. They're 2 games behind Brooklyn. What say ye?
The Bulls are playing pretty impressive. They got Cody White back, and the next game they're going to get Vooch back, and they got Caruso back. So the Bulls are looking good. They got good coaching. No, they're not going to win 72 games, but they're competitive, and that's something a lot more to be said than they have been in the last few years.
So would you be shocked if they made the Eastern Conference Finals?
Or
pleasantly surprised, I would say.
I would be surprised. It's a long season. And then once you get to the playoffs, you got that favoritism for certain players.
Semifinals?
Semifinals, yeah, I definitely can see them. They got the firepower. They got the health going toward the end of the season. I can see them making it to the semis.
EP, any comments on the Bulls before we jump on topic?
Yeah, man, I agree. Everything Ace said, I can see them making it to the semis as well. Yeah, man, they playing well, man. Hopefully they can all stay healthy. They can get better, tighter as a unit over the season or whatever. And as Ace mentioned, man, good coaching, man. And the Bulls, man, ever since the Jordan era, they had a number of good years where they, I don't want to say overachieved, but they did a lot. They got the most out of their the players that they had. You know what I mean? So they seem to be back on track with that, man. Just glad to see what they're doing, man.
Well, it was a lot of, let's say, they weren't lucky. You had the Jason Williams injury.
The D Rose injury.
The D Rose injuries. Joakim Noah's knees went bad. So, they got a lot of young players. Hopefully they can propel that to a progression to a better team.
Yeah, facts. We got Knowledge Keeper 55. He said, "My Lions." Yeah, this is my guy. He live in Detroit. He got to be from Detroit saying "my Lions," right, bro? I mean, man, I think I've never heard that in a sentence together ever. Yeah. Big ups though. He said, "My Lions," shaking my head. I don't know what to say. I mean, it's got to be tough.
Yeah, they're on 9. What did you expect? You expect them to win this week? Yeah.
I
I
mean,
guess
year after year, year after year, Ace. You know,
yeah, they suck.
hey, take it easy on Knowledge Keeper. Take it easy.
I mean,
But
they've been unlucky too. You know, they had the all world wide receiver, and they had a decent quarterback. You couldn't get it done in the playoffs, but you know, and you had Barry Sanders for a while. So we haven't had that since Walter Payton.
all right, and we got Knowledge Keeper. He said Bulls been winning, but they're on a 3-game losing streak right now. I think they won that last one though.
No, they lost to Houston. They lost to last night, and they lost to Indiana.
Oh, they did lose last night?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They won the one before that one. So,
okay.
It's a long season. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. So, you know, as they get healthier and they play different teams. They're going to face different schemes, different defensive strategies, and that'll help them, you know, as they get toward the playoffs.
Well, Brother Wordsmith said, looked like to me it wasn't an elbow, but a closed backhand fist. He's making a reference to LeBron's elbow.
Okay. I can maybe see.
And then the last thing in the chat, Wordsmith said, looks like LeBron said something to him as well. Man, I hooped before, bro. And you walk up, you know, and somebody could say something that just, man, after elbowing you in your face, Ace, you know what I mean? You know, you already got hit in the face. You already like, you know, come on, man. Basketball is it's a precise sport. When you know what you're doing with your hands, you know what you're doing with your feet, man.
Right. But, you know, as they try to compare, who would have ran up on Jordan and went crazy like that?
Nobody.
Anyone asked either of them specifically what happened, or they're not allowed to talk about that?
That's what's weird. They don't ask people what happened no more. Yeah. Right. They're not allowed to talk about anything. That's weird. These modern day media don't ask, like, did LeBron say something to you? They don't ask direct questions. Yeah.
At least let them say no comment.
Exactly.
That's between me and LeBron.
But, so I can know you doing your job, right?
But if you don't ask questions, I mean, come on.
Please smash that thumbs up, y'all. Share this link. Let's get them in here. We're about to jump on the topic right now. We got about 25 minutes to handle this. And again, it's a 2-part series, you guys. We think it's very important as far as, you know, I think this is opportunity for our youth. So again, I appreciate this brother for, you know, telling us to unpack this, because I went on this journey and it's opened my eyes up to some things too. Like, bro, I can go to a college and volunteer and be an esports coach. You know, they won't hire you unless you got your degree. So they'll have programs, you know, where you could be studying and volunteering and esports coaching, and they'll hire you. So there's opportunity out here. Yeah. Hey, I hear you. I know how you feel about this, EP, but here we go. I'm just going to do a definition. What is esports? By definition, it's a multiplayer video game played competitively for spectators. It's important. So once again, it's a multiplayer video game played competitively for spectators, typically by professional gamers. Millions of people enjoy watching esports. I never could get into watching somebody playing video games.
When am I next?
Right, unless I'm playing next or something. Correct. So just the genesis of esports. It started. When did esports start? 1972 to 1989. EP. I wouldn't have known that. So this was all during our lifetime. The first ever video game competition took place at Stanford University in 1972. 5 students competed in an intergalactic space war Olympics, and the winner received a year's subscription for Rolling Stone magazine. So, y'all got any comments on this?
No, well, yeah, I do. First, I wouldn't call it esports. That's like a misnomer to me. I don't see it as a sport. Like, you're sitting in a chair on a computer. It's not a sport. So e-competition,
All right.
gaming, they could have just called it gaming.
E-gaming or something.
E-gaming, e-gaming,
And here's the thing. If they were gaming all sports games, I could even go with that. You know what I mean? Like if they were gaming football, basketball, golf, and they were like, this is esports and this is fantasy and this is I might even have one with that. But the esports, they don't even be playing sports, bro.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it might be just a technical term to facilitate
Marketing or something.
Scholarships. I mean,
And at first I was against the whole scholarship thing. And like you, Mills, I've been like looking at a few videos, doing a little research, I'm still, like you said, it's deep, right? More than I expected. So there's levels to this, but I'm not against scholarships. At first I was like, why are you getting a scholarship for this? I was joking saying you might as well give scholarships for spades or, Bid Whist,
dominoes. It's coming though. E-domino. It's got to be E-dominoes though. Can't be the real thing.
Yeah, we would have been valedictorians back then.
Right, E-solitaire, you know what I'm saying? So I get the whole scholarship thing, but I don't know. I wouldn't call it esports. Yeah, I don't know. It's just a misnomer to me. But it is what it is. Yeah.
Ace, you got any comments so far?
Well, I mean, the whole electronic gaming industry, it's another avenue or venue of what's coming next. You have the traditional education that most computer savvy or computer tech people aren't, they're not interested in, or, they don't have to go to a traditional four-year college to get those degrees and go into these careers. So maybe it's the universities trying to develop a program to get the gamers or these esports athletes to come to school.
Oh, you better not say athletes around Ernest. I mean, it does assault, because we can't use the R word. We got kids watching. It does assault the integrity of the term athlete. But go ahead, Ace. Go ahead. In my opinion, go ahead.
Yeah. But it's. I mean, it is part of this generation's life. They wake up gaming, they go to sleep gaming, and it's a matter of what the parents do in between as to basically how they live the rest of their lives. But
Well, Ace, you make a good point, though, when you mention the universities, and I'm kind of seeing it as a backhanded way for universities, because they said that, and we'll get into it, that there's some benefits that a lot of these gamers aren't, we like to think of them as, pot smoking loafers, but they said when they do the math on it, these are STEM kids. Like most of these students are smart. Yeah, it's not the slacker anymore. So it could be a backdoor way that these universities are using to get some students that they can never have the opportunity of getting to come to their little pissant school. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Right, because these kids will go to let's say a DeVry or a technical school like that and get a degree in 2 years, and they don't have to associate with a university for 4 to 6 years to get a piece of paper that would be deemed worthless in 15, 20 years. Because now a lot of let's say jobs, or there's, even after you have your degrees, your bachelor's and master's, after a certain amount of time, they're going to send you back to school to relearn the same things that you already know, just based on you being out of the loop. So,
yeah. Well, if I'm hearing you correctly, Mills, what I think you're saying is you got your smart kids who like the brightest of the bright. They would often opt to go to a MIT or a Stanford. Or
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some engineering school, right?
Yeah.
But then you got that next pool who didn't get into that top engineering school, Ivy League school.
Mhm.
It's like, all right, how do you attract those?
Correct.
You know what I mean? They're not going,
Correct.
those who didn't get into University of Illinois or Georgia Tech or something like that. Then
I'm
you got
saying a
the
bit
kids
further
like,
too. Stanford's
hey,
going to lose some good kids too if they don't have these programs. Go ahead, EP. I'm
yeah,
saying that
and
too.
that might come down the line. I
Yeah.
don't see a lot of these top 50 or top 100 universities.
They ain't worried about it
offering
right
these type of
now.
scholarships right now. But you know, you get your small, I don't know, Montana. I'm just throwing out a state. Montana State
Yeah,
University
Montana State. Yeah.
offering scholarships, then the kid might say, "Hey, I can go there."
Right.
And then once they get enough money, you know, because these games are profitable. You know, looking at the YouTube videos, they filling up stadiums and stuff for these competitions.
Man.
They make enough money, then they can start investing into their engineering program or their computer language, computer science programs or whatever, and then attract more students or whatever. So yeah, like you said, it could be a backdoor way.
And let me say this for the old heads out there. There's a distinction, which we're going to get into in the second part 2 of this series we're doing. But there's a distinction when we talk esports. So you guys, you know, you're not on your PS5, you're not on your Xbox. That's not what they're doing. They play it with a mouse and a PC. So that's a distinction. And there's a learning curve playing games that way. Yeah. So, you know, we think, oh yeah, you're going to be on your Xbox, and no. So if your child is doing that, they're just probably just wasting time. You know what I mean? They're just having fun. But if you get them on the PC, get them a mouse and get them playing that way, now they're creating that muscle memory that they're going to need to be competitive when they get off to high school. But I'm going to jump into the growth and the development. And I think you guys and Ace brought it up. We're kind of following the money here. Like, how lucrative of an industry is this? So growth. Most projections put the esports ecosystem on track to surpass $1 billion in revenue for the first time this year. I mean, come on, man. And revenue is expected to grow from here. Newzoo Projects, I guess that's a platform, Newzoo projects it to hit 1.8 billion by 2022. APAC or APOC will account for over half, which is 57% of global esports. That's a question mark because I don't want EP jumping down my throat. But APAC will account for over half, which is 57% of global esports viewership in 2019, up from 51% in 2017. I need to invest if they're a publicly traded company. And that's all per Newzoo, and that was as of August 21st. Any comments, anybody?
Well, you can see the revenue generation of esports. We have a esports facility being built here in Chicago. I think they're going to put $30 million into this particular building. This is all private funding, where they would have people from around the world competing and coming in to watch these esports participants compete on a global stage. So 1 billion, 2 billion is only going to go up from here. I mean, the computer and graphics and you know, these particular participants' knowledge is just going to grow more and more and more, and then they're going to spread that on. And hey, where will it stop? No one knows.
My concern is, like you mentioned, the money is there. The money's going to be there. These video game companies, they're going to certainly invest as well because, you know, you're playing their games or whatever. My concern is how do the students, or I guess my concern is exploitation, similar to a athlete situation. You know, you get an athlete who comes to a school, people say, hey, you're getting a free ride, education, or whatever, to come to our program. And, you know, we're going to pay for everything. You just do X, Y, Z, whatever the scholarship is for. You know, if it's for athletics, if it's for band, whatever, you do your thing and boom. Oftentimes, though, schools, they making goo gobs of money. So they making goo gobs of money from these companies, esports, they're making good gobs of money from the people that are coming to see them play, and they get a scholarship. And a lot of these kids might be different for esports because, as Mills mentioned, a lot of them are actually intelligent. Are they going to actually study and graduate and do other things beyond graduation besides playing video games? You know what I mean? Because like while you're there, are you going to be studying to learn how to program? You know what I mean? Are you going to have a worthwhile skill once you graduate? As opposed to I went to school, I played video games for 4 years.
Yeah, but you're still having the old way. They become professional esports. You can't get in your mind.
No. They have. Actually,
Yes.
as I was researching this though,
Yeah.
there's one guy who
If
maybe
it's
like
money,
a year and a
save
half,
it.
2 years, he's been doing it professionally, right?
Save it for part two. Save it
Okay.
for part two. We're gonna get into the money and the opportunities in part two. But I just wanted to say, bro, that I hear your concerns, but it's like any athlete, and that comes to coaching and parenting. They have structure in place. They have structure in place to make sure that these students are doing what they're supposed to do. And if you're not getting your grades, you're going to get thrown out of school. I mean, it's like any other student, either you cut the mustard or you take.
The slight difference is that with esports, these kids are spending 4, 5, 6, sometimes 8 hours a day on their computer, as opposed to an athlete, he might go to practice 2, 3 hours a day, and then the rest of the time is his.
Well, they did the study and they said that they spend as much time as the athletes do. So the athletes, we don't know, and I checked this with one of my guys who played professional sports. If you're in a Big Ten type of a real program, you're putting 4 hours in a day, bro. And so with the esports, they're doing the same thing. They're putting the 4 hours in. Go ahead, Ace.
Yeah, and then as far as the students are concerned, it's a lab, lab assignment. Like you're going into the lab, taking care of your business on your esports. My question is, who's in control of this? Like with the general sports, you have the NCAA milking the programs and the schools. Who does this fall underneath?
It's a private sponsor right now. Yeah, it's a private company and it's all marketing, but it's like so they get into those tournaments. But again, good question. We're going to unpack that in part two because I only got about 9 more minutes. My family's going to be waiting. So
real quick, it'll be interesting
to
see if NCAA considers it a sport. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah, I think they do. I think they do, man. But let me just break down this portion. So we did the growth, and so I want to hit the pros and cons of esports. So they said the pros: cognitive and social development. So some of these pros, to your dismay, EP, according to the people who are pro esports, they're saying it's the same thing as you get from participating in regular athletics. So let's talk about it. Improved hand-eye coordination. I checked that. I got that from playing sports. Improved attention and visual acuity. I checked that. I got that in sports. Improved basic visual processing and executive function. I feel like I got that playing sports. Problem solving and strategy skill development. I feel like I attained that playing sports. 71% of parents report gaming having net positive effects for children. Now, that's pretty a gray area. Now, boost self-confidence and player socialization. Reason being, when you're playing esports, remember, it's a team concept, guys. You're not sitting there playing solitaire. You're not doing something by yourself. You're playing with a team. You're interacting. Move here, do that. So you might have an introverted child who doesn't know how to reach out or doesn't know how to talk to people, and this can open that child up. Same thing with team sports. 54% of gamers, this is only 54%. I don't know why they put that in here like that's a big number, but 54% of gamers say that gaming helps them connect with friends. Thoughts?
I believe, all of those things should be true. I can just hear it in my son's bedroom, especially during this last year of COVID, when they weren't able to go practice and play games. His main connection, during the first real quarantine was through esports. basketball and football, although it be in PlayStation and not on the computer. That's how he interacted with his friends, and fortunately or unfortunately, that's the change of the world has faced with this particular Peter pandemic that we just went through.
I agree with most of that. I do question the last one, maybe the last 2 points. One about socialization. It's true that, you develop friends and stuff, but I was watching a clip and a couple of people were saying that socialization comes at a cost because it can be competitive at some programs. And a lot of these esports athletes, they stay together. They live in a house together. As opposed to other traditional sports, you don't necessarily have to live with your teammates, whatever, but oftentimes in esports, they stay in the house together and they're hanging out. So it's competitive because you're always trying to get that edge on the next guy. Y'all teammates, but you still trying to be the guy, the man. So they spend a lot of times on these games. Like one guy said he spent 8 hours a day, and it's gotten to the point where a lot of them are scared to let's go out for a beer. You know what I mean? Because they say if I leave, this guy who's still here, he might get the edge up on me.
But how's that different from athletes? Athletes do it too. I'm telling you, the pro athletes, we had one of my noobs sat on our show and he talked about how they would practice, and he said he got his edge. First of all, he said his girl got pregnant. That was motivation. But he said he got his edge. He realized after practice, he started working out more. He said on Friday nights, people would be at the party early, his teammates, he was still working out a few more extra hours, bro, to get that competitive edge. So we say...
That's an individual as opposed to a whole team. You know what I mean? Like you got that Kobe guy.
Yes, like, he wasn't socialized. Yeah, he wasn't socialized.
Kobe's not that guy, right? But the rest of the team, they go to practice and they go do whatever.
That's true. As opposed
to with esports, your whole team is like...
That's true.
Scared to move, you know what I mean? Like they like, yo, it's Friday night, like let's go get a beer. You ain't getting the edge up on me. Blah, 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 blah. Now, as far as like, I don't know what's the word for physical skills or whatever. You become good at typing or whatever and all that type of stuff. But they said that esports players develop issues a lot sooner than most people, as far as like carpal tunnel, back issues, because you're in a seated position all day, you're typing on the computer all day. So, you're going to get aches and pains in your wrists and your fingers and your back, neck, spine, a lot sooner than most people, because you're sedentary all day. You know what I'm saying? It's not even like these cats hit the gym afterwards.
Well, actually they do. We're going to talk about that. They do.
About that.
Yes, they do, and that's why they're trying to make it. They're trying to answer you, EP, because they know parents have these same concerns, but they do. They have a certain amount of physical activity they got to do, and that's why I call it athletics. But I'm going to say this real quick, and I'm going to throw it to you, Ace. More benefits long term. Over 280 colleges today feature esports scholarship programs. So we'd be a fool as parents not to consider this. Over 280 colleges today feature esports scholarship programs. These programs operate similarly to traditional programs and sometimes operate outside of the college's athletic departments. The total number of grass soccer scholarships is limited, so leaning into esports for many players may become a realistic opportunity to gain valuable scholarship for college. All players who participate in esport leagues will be placed in a national scouting directory for esports scholarships to help them get discovered academic excellence. Players who participate in esports programs are found to have a higher interest in STEM, which is science, tech, engineering, and math subjects, and have strong average GPAs. Esports helps them engage with their fellow students in their schools. Problem-solving skills. Research, EP, not emotion, research shows that children that play video games have a far much better chance of navigating through complex psychological issues compared to those that do not actively participate in video games. So the question becomes, what are the ones doing when they're not playing competitively with other people. They're doing, but anyway, I'll move further because they're not outside playing all the stuff you're saying, the social skills. These kids don't do that anymore. But I'll move further. Future job market. Playing video games can make students smarter and more employable across a wider spectrum of careers, including the medical field. Now, this is a biased survey, I'm sure, but including the medical field, engineering, aviation, remote flying, computer sciences, strategic thinking. Esports can boost children's strategic thinking, teamwork, communication. We talked about that, performance skills and confidence building. And there's a chart here that I'm just not going to bother to show for sake of time. But you guys, comments?
Well, as far as the scholarship portion of that, yeah, me being a father of a college baseball player, that baseball was considered is considered a non-revenue generating sport, and it's limited to like 17 and a half full scholarships for entire team. So instead of these kids coming in and not having to worry about finances, they had to qualify for academic scholarships as well as their athletic scholarships to pay for school. So my question or quandary is, what does esports fall under? Since it's a private entity that's controlling it, are they considered a revenue generating sport? Because basically they are for the university. So are they getting full scholarships and full rides? So, I mean, we have to consider all avenues to send our children to university if that's our plan for them in the future, besides, trade.
Well said, Ace. EP?
I agree with all of that. Yeah. Well said. I don't have anything to add to that. I agree with everything that he mentioned. Yeah, like who wouldn't want to jump on a scholarship, free education. So yeah, I'm for all that.
I mean, I'd want to encourage these children to do anything besides, carjacking somebody. You know what I'm saying? So, but here's the cons, and I probably should have started with those, and then we're going to get into y'all final thoughts. So the cons, EP, and some of these I've heard you mention. I just didn't want to comment because we were getting here. Here are the 10 negative effects. Now, this is just video gaming. It's not necessarily esports, because remember, esports, you're playing it with other people, in a team situation. But it's still video gaming at the end of the day. Dopamine addiction. But I know a lot of athletes have talked about that. When they don't play the sport anymore, they try to replace that, with hustling and drug dealing and chasing women, etc. Reduction in motivation. And I think these are what you were kind of hitting on, EP. And this is a science. This is a word I've never seen before, and I can't pronounce it. Alexithymia. Alexithymia. Alexithymia and emotional suppression. Also, repetitive stress injuries and other health risks. Poor mental health, relationship issues, social disconnection, exposure to toxic gaming environments, and then joint pain.
Well, I mean, it sounds like, except for the social part, maybe even that too. It sounds like traditional athletes. I mean,
correct.
They have all of those same cons going into different sports, being on different teams, whether you get along with the team or the coach, and then the injuries that you face to keep your scholarship.
But the poor mental health is in here. It's a bullet point. I don't know what they mean by that. Go ahead, Ace. Just want.
Well, I mean, you see it in the. You just saw it in the Olympics with the Simone Biles. She said, "Hey, mentally, I can't focus enough to compete for this."
How about the big
Olympics.
girl at the top of the show who's punching girls?
Right. So, right. So, it's a matter of, the guidance and who their fallback team is, whether it's family or a relative, or you have a coach that really is concerned about them.
All right, and then EP, I want to hear you comment on that, and then give us your final thoughts, and then I'm gonna throw it back to Ace for final thoughts, so we can wrap it up. Y'all in the well, we'll talk about what's coming up next week on part 2. So throw it to EP.
I agree with all of that as well. Good points, Ace. Don't really have anything to add to that. I will say though, however, in Simone's case, and I need to research further, but what I'm hearing or what I heard is that part of her mental issue is that something's off with her as far as like an equilibrium.
Chemical imbalance is what you're saying? Chemical imbalance?
But when she makes her jumps or lands, whatever, she's not as confident because she's had issues where something's off. So when she's up in the air, you can't sense where you are, whatever. And when you're doing all that type of stuff, if you inch off this way, inch off that way, when you're coming down on the beam, you can get hurt. So if in the back of your mind, you're like, am I straight today or not?
Oh, yeah, I'm talking about Simone. I was thinking about the pot smoker who got smoked in track. But go ahead. Yeah, my bad.
Shakira.
Yeah, Shakira.
Yeah. So I'm hearing her mental issues are stemming from that. But anyway, other than that, man, I agree with all your points. My final thoughts is that I just have a problem with the name, Esports itself, e-competition or whatever. You know what I mean? I don't think that it's going to be something that's regulated by the NCAA. I don't think they're going to bother with it. Maybe they might because it's a moneymaker, right? Yeah. I think it's going to be another governing board to handle that. And actually some schools they established governing boards. I can't think of the names right now, that it's like an esports board for all of these college athletes and competitions. I'm calling them athletes for now, and competition. So I think it will be governed. And, that's the thing to look out for in the future. How will it be governed? Will they be under the same scrutiny as college athletes? You know what I mean? If you don't maintain a certain GPA, then you can't play. There needs to be regulations on how much time they're spending in front of the computer, the game, whatever. You can't practice.
That word, regulations. Go ahead.
8 hours a day on the computer. You know what I mean? So things of that nature is what you have to look out for. Because at the end of the day, you might get that scholarship, but it's like, is the scholarship worth it? Like, what do the kids have to give up or to contribute to keep the scholarship or whatever? So just something to think about. You know what I mean?
All right,
it seems good. Everything looks good.
Hey, well said. I'm gonna throw it to Ace, and that is something to consider, though. Like, as your child, Dad, I'm not going to Stanford. I'm going to Montana State, and yeah, I hear you. That's something to consider. Yeah, but you got accepted to Stanford. Yeah, but they don't have a esports program. All right, Ace, I'm gonna throw it to you.
Well, I mean, in light of that, you got to look at the different mid majors or other teams that came up in the last 15 years where, kids weren't going to play at the top 5 schools. They weren't going to play. They were good, but they weren't going to play. So you have to go somewhere else that fits your skills and fits, the coach fits you and somewhere you want to be. So, maybe this is an alternative for those kids that, like you said, accepted at Stanford, but Montana State has the top esports program in the country. So,
all right, let's say Chicago State. All right,
for Chicago State.
There we go.
Shout out to all the people in Montana, but but if they want to go to Chicago State because it has the top esports program in the country, it's something to consider. And also, we've got to move forward as far as our thinking of different revenue streams for our kids and revenue streams for these schools, because that's what they're thinking of. So, if they're willing to give your child a scholarship or your neighbor's child a scholarship for each sport, then, it's something you got to consider, especially with this year, the college athletes being able to sign and get some revenue based on, their naming rights or these licensing deals that they're coming up with for the college athletes. So it's definitely something to consider.
Well, and I'm not going to add anything to that except for what Ace said at the end, which we're going to get into on the next week's show. The schools that I looked at here in the U.S. that are doing this, they know that. So the student, of course, maintains their own likeness, and they can still earn money on the side. Private tournaments and everything, and the school encourages it. Not only do they encourage it, they set your student up on how to be marketable. So they're already teaching them how to make money. Where do you get that in college? Where do you get that in college? So you're studying to be an engineer, and they're not saying, okay, we're going to get you right here as a freshman working at this engineering firm, and we're going to teach you how to market yourself. So they're doing that, but we're going to save that for next week, because I'm excited about next week's show, and that's where we're going to get into the meat and potatoes of how to get the bread through esports. Next week's it kind of goes in line with next week's self-love show, y'all. We're kicking off our series on the self-love show on alternative and legal income sources for our community. We have a friend of the show returning, DJ E Prado, and he's been trading, comic books. He's on the South Side, and he's been buying and trading them. And, he goes to Comic-Con, and we clown the crap out of him. We clown him, I mean, of course we do. You know what I mean? What are you Puerto Rican? Are you Hispanic? And you're at Comic-Con? But that's what we do. But he keeps his head on up, right? Does what he's doing. And when he goes to the bank, guess who's laughing and clowning who at that point? So that's what we're talking about. So it's funny you mentioned that, Ace. We have to be open to these in our community, to these other ways, especially our young ones are telling us it's money to be made like this. And sometimes, we just don't know because we're still conditioned from the old way. We're still using a typewriter. We're still doing fax repairs that we learned at CVS, and nobody's even using a fax machine anymore. That's reality what we're up against now. So the next topic, you guys, and I'd love if you can come back, EP, next Thursday, part 2 is how to get scholarships. We're going to actually show you how to get the scholarships and how they're getting money in esports. And so that's what we're on next week. So we always remind you, cats, when you come around to Mouthpiece Included, you always want to make sure that you're keeping your head on the swivel.
Mm-hmm.
Keep your head on the swivel, because we know in Chi-Town they will get you, boy. They'll get that swivel again. Keep your head on the swivel, y'all. Y'all know how that is. Your boy, you be chilling. You better have that head on that swivel, boy. Also, keep your dukes up in my city. Guard your grill. You better be prepared to knuckle up. Man, they're going to try you. They're going to try you in the shot.
Definitely.
And don't forget to bring your mouthpiece. Rest in peace to Mama Sky. Love you.
Peace, Mama Sky. Love y'all, brothers. Happy Turkey Day.